What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I really wanted to sit here and talk to you guys about holiday makeup in its entirety. Yes, I'm definitely one of those people that gets insanely excited about holiday releases, but I also feel that it is very important to, of course, give the other side of things. And it's like looking back into my collection, how consistently am I using those holiday releases that I just couldn't get enough of, or I thought I would get so much use out of. So that's going to be the thesis of this video. I will be talking about a whole bunch of different brands, different collections that I have from these brands. So if you're interested, let's just get into it. Okay guys, so like I said, I pulled quite a bit of makeup from previous years, and I will do my best to kind of tell you guys verbally what year, and then of course if I don't know, I will have it on the screen. First things first, I looked down and I was using this a lot. This is the Rare Beauty highlighter in Flaunt, and I was just surprised not only of how much I've been using it, but how you can really see the wear on the product. And this is the product that really had me think, what are products that I thought I was surprised I used a lot, but also had like a holiday spin to it. And so this was the antithesis for this collection or this video. And yeah, I've just been using this a lot. This has pretty much been in my little basket of Project Pan makeup, mainly because it's just a no fuss, no muss highlighter for me. It does give a lot of highlighted sheen to the cheeks, which I do enjoy, but I also feel like I can blend it in beautifully with my cream blush, and I don't have any issues feeling like I'm losing the product because of it. So that is why this has been something that I've gotten a lot of use out of. And I will say, now that I've looked at it, this is definitely not a bad purchase for me. I've gotten so much use out of it. I want to say this was somewhere around the $20-$30 mark, and I've easily used this more than 30 times. And so for me, having a product where at least $1 for my use, I can justify that. Personally, I can justify that. So very happy I picked this Rare Beauty highlighter up last year around December. Next are two face palettes that, once again, seeing the collection starting to drop right now, I'm like, but did I use it? Did I use it? So the first one is the NARS palette from last year, and this is in the shade Rising Star. I still have yet to glue in this top shade, so that shade still falls out, which is lovely. But what I will say about this formula is it's a great formula. It does work on my skin tone. I really do like it. I do remember finding that some of the shades were just a tinge too light, specifically this one, and this one was on that border where it was just a little too light, but otherwise all of the other shades worked on my skin. The formula is like one of those baked gelée formulas, so you really have to have either a really good synthetic brush or just a natural hair brush to pick up the product. And so for me, that's something that I have, so there was no reason why I didn't really get all that much use out of it, other than it's in the bottom drawer of my palette organizer, and I just don't remember to use face palettes anymore. And so I really want to think about this and my usage of these products that I bought last year in my decision making of this year, especially as I've told you guys, I've really put myself on a budget and I'm trying really hard to stick to it. So the NARS cheek palette this year may not be something smart for me to pick up for myself. Maybe if I was, buying for my channel because I was making money that way, then yeah, but just at the state that I'm in right now, I can't do that. And so I really need to think about these things critically. Another face palette that I picked up, and I really liked this one, is the Hourglass Tiger palette. Now, the day that I'm filming is the day that they actually showcased 3 of the 4 palettes for this year's holiday. And what I will say is I am thoroughly unimpressed, completely unimpressed. I'm pretty sure all 3 palettes that were showcased work on lighter and maybe tan skin tones. I don't think they'll work on me, so that's fine. I'm really happy that I picked this up. I gave Hourglass my one support. I showed them with my money that this is a range and providing shades for darker skin would definitely be, you know, profitable for them. Whether they saw that, that's on them. But I do really like this palette. The only thing that doesn't really work for me is this. This is supposed to be a bronzer. It's more like a face powder for me, especially in the summer. In the summer, it's dang near under eye setting powder. Like, it's just too light. During the winter, I can kind of pull it off as a setting powder, more of a light kind of setting powder. All of the other shades are really nice. This one is light as well, but I can still make it work, especially if I'm really blending it in with some of these other shades. So that is that. I do really like this formula. It's not a baked gelée. It's more of just a baked formula. So you can pick it up easily with any brush, whether synthetic or natural hair. But I really like it. I love this orange blush and this more darker maroon blush. The highlighter is beautiful as well. Once again, no real rhyme or reason why I did not use it a lot. I should have used this a lot. I actually anticipated using it a lot, but I didn't. And so I'm going to remember that moving forward this year. I'm probably not going to pick up another Hourglass or NARS face palette until I really get significant use out of the ones that I already have. Another brand that I typically pick up their holiday release is Odins Eye. Odins Eye comes out with some beautiful color schemes and beautiful formulas. This one right here is the Merry Christmas palette. And then this one right here is the Christmas Eve palette. What I will say for these two palettes is they're beautiful. The formula is immaculate. I really liked it, and I loved the unique color scheme. That's why I went ahead and picked both palettes up. Otherwise, I really wasn't going to do it. And for this brand, and for, I would say, on my channel, and because I am more indie brand focused on my channel, I'm gonna gear more towards picking up these indie releases to showcase to you guys. I was very disappointed, as I'm sure you guys were, of the fact that this only really had one lot of palettes. They didn't have a restock at all, and they were very strong on that. So I would recommend this year, if you were interested and if you're saving to get the Odins Eye holiday release, I would highly recommend you being on that website on launch day, because they do tend to sell out. I'm very excited to see what they're going to come out with. And in this case, even though I wouldn't say I've worn these palettes every day, I don't wear the same eyeshadow palette a lot unless I'm using my neutral brown quads that are in my top drawer. So for these, I feel like I got my money's worth, not only in just using them randomly throughout the year, but also in the video being truly helpful for you guys. So I can see this being financially smart. What did I just say? I can see this being financially smart for me to pick up their holiday collection this year. And like I said, I'm very excited to see what they come out this year. We haven't seen anything yet. They do tend to wait closer to the actual holidays, so I'm very excited. Another palette that I had to think about when this palette actually launched was the Natasha Denona My Dream palette. Now, I not only picked up this palette, I also picked up the face palette, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt, that was not useful for me. I should have known that that wasn't going to really work on my skin tone at all. I'd seen somebody who was of a darker skin showcase that, and they seemed to enjoy it, so that's why I went ahead and said, okay, let's just pick it up. But this is the money maker for this collection for me. This is my absolute favorite palette from Natasha Denona. It's somewhere up there between this and the Yucca. I don't really know which one, but absolutely love this palette. The formulas are beautiful. The depth is great. This is truly a medium to deep depth only. There's truly no light shades, and for me, that works best on my skin tone. And I really don't use a lot of light shades, and if I do, I'll just reach for like a powder to lighten up whatever I need to lighten up. So this is great for me, absolutely great. I definitely will continue to buy Natasha Denona palettes. I don't think I've bought one this year, but mainly that's just because I've enjoyed using what I have, and whatever she's released this year, which she's released, I want to say 2 palettes. I just haven't beat the true indie palettes that I have picked up. So that's why I haven't picked any up, but I can see me picking up quite a few during her Black Friday sale. Those sales are pretty good, especially if you don't have any of her products, because she tends to bundle them and you get a significant sale on those products. Another brand that it's a slightly different holiday, but nonetheless it is holiday themed, and they tend to do a holiday themed product every year, is Lunar Beauty. He tends to focus on Halloween, and Halloween is one of my favorite holidays as well. This is the Moonspell palette, so this is the first volume. Last year he came out with volume 2. Volume 2 was just not really tickling my pickle, so I decided to skip, but the formula is great, at least in this one. I did have some issues in the second palette that I picked up from the brand, but I really do enjoy this particular palette. I would highly recommend this palette. And yeah, I just wanted to shout out Lunar Beauty. I've used this palette on and off for, I want to say, the 2 years that I've had it in my collection, and I think it was definitely useful for me. And it was also useful for me to know that the second palette was just not going to be something that I used. That's why I didn't pick it up. And so, you know, I didn't waste my money that way. So definitely picking and choosing what I pick up from even my favorite brands has been smart for me in the past. And once again, just kind reminder, that is something that you could do as well. Another brand that I want to highlight, because I feel like they once again do a lot of kind of holiday-ish themed products, is Glaminatrix Cosmetics. I have 3 palettes here that I believe were all kind of released around the holidays. The first one I want to talk about is the Silent Night palette. I feel like this is the palette that really, if somebody was not interested in this brand, they really became interested in the indie community because of this one. Beautiful colors. I will say the foils were very, very slick, so in some cases it was hard to pick up and apply, and then you also got quite a bit of fallout, but the actual products are great. You just have to know how to work with them. I won't lie to you, I really haven't reached for this palette outside of my videos and just testing them out, but I truly enjoy Glaminatrix Cosmetics. This one is the Glamorous palette. Once again, I tested it out, I tried it out. I picked this up knowing though that it was not going to be a palette that I loved, just because this color scheme isn't reaching me, at least not when I picked it up. I'm getting a little bit more back into color, and so I could see me really playing with this palette a little bit more now, but in that moment I just picked it up because I know I really love this brand, and I hate, and I do mean hate, when the brand discontinues something and I don't get it in my paws. Another one that I know was holiday was this Nocturnal palette. This was previous to the Silent Night, and they've finally gotten their shimmers together where they don't puff when they get to you, and they also don't break when they get to you. But as you can see, these shimmers have definitely been through some things, but they're beautiful nonetheless. I love the color scheme of this one. I still do. And yeah, great quality. And I think the last most recent palette that I've picked up from them is their Nearly Neutral palette. Once again, I want to say they advertised this around the holidays last year, and this is just a beautiful neutral palette with a twist that I enjoy. You get a whole bottom row down here, which is pretty much straight browns. You get slight warmth to these browns. In the middle, you get some greens. You get some unique kind of duochrome, like silvery blue, and then like a beautiful sparkly pink, and then up the top you get more mauve colors and this beautiful brown. This palette is beautiful. This needs to be a palette that is closer to my top drawer. It's just not convenient because of the size in my drawers. I can't really put a palette this size in there, but I could see me easily getting more use out of this. This is by far, I would say, the palette that I've gotten the most use out of from this brand. And you know, that's just knowing my current reach for products. Like, I used to reach for those blue palettes, those green palettes a lot more a couple of years ago, and since then I've gravitated more towards neutrals. I do enjoy throwing in, you know, some color in there every now and then, but at the end of the day, I do use more neutrals. And so once again, this is just information I need to keep in the back of my head when I am prepping for purchasing this holiday season. 2 more brands I want to talk about, and then we are good to go. One is Huda Beauty. Huda Beauty tends to come out with a big palette every holiday season. I only pulled out one, but as you guys know, I have quite a few from the brand. I did just recently do a palette bingo, and this is her Mercury Retrograde palette. And I think this palette is really, really pretty. I did wait to pick it up until it was 50% off. I love the neutrals down here with the splash of color, but I also just love her formula. Her formulas are really, really great, specifically in these bigger palettes. I just truly enjoy them. And you get some interesting textures with these shimmers that you won't get from other brands at Sephora. So that's why I feel like this is a really high target brand for me during the holidays. We'll see what she comes out with this year. Maybe it'll be something that I feel like I have to get full price, but lately I've been able to really chill and wait till they go down to 50% off, because at the end of the day, as much as they're cute, I have them, and so if I can get them for a really steep discount, why not sit on my butt and wait? The last brand that I think is so infamous for her holiday collections is, of course, Pat McGrath. Pat McGrath comes out with a holiday collection every year, and this year it happened to be Bridgerton. Since picking up this collection, I will admit I've become obsessed with Bridgerton, so you know, there's that. And this is the first palette that they released. They did release a second palette that had a green shimmer, but pretty much all of the other base products that are base colors, like all of these colors were the same. It was pretty much this turned into a green for that second palette. I really like the quality. I like the palette. Is this something that I reach for? No, I don't. I honestly don't reach for my Pat McGrath, which is another problem in of itself, but the product is great. So I really need to take that in consideration. That's why I didn't pick up the second one, because I knew I wasn't going to reach for the first one, even though I couldn't help myself. I think I got it on like 40% off. So I was like, why not? Let's just do it. And right alongside that, I also did pick up both of the highlighters. I did. The highlighter that I actually reach for, like when I think about I want a Pat McGrath highlighter and I don't want the nude one that I picked up from her Real collection, I will reach for this one, which is Incandescent Gold 02. But I know a lot of people of my skin tone will probably reach for this one. I just don't like this one nearly as much. I know that there's been a whole thing about the really true gold formulas for darker skin, or just any skin, specifically because of Fenty's diamond, whatever, the really gold one that she released years ago when she launched her brand. I know that was super popular and a lot of people were showing how it was versatile, blah 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 blah. I just don't like these yellow golds, but I'm gonna keep this in my collection so that I don't in the future decide that I do like yellow golds and I pick up another one. I already bought it with my money, so there's no reason to force it out of my collection. The actual formula is fantastic, and I will say I do get quite a bit of use out of her formulas when it comes to the highlighters and also the blushes. I just couldn't find the blush palette. It's somewhere in this collection. Sometimes it's in my blush section, sometimes it's in my palette section. It's somewhere, but I also get a lot of use out of that. So for me, it would be smarter in this holiday season to pick up a cheek product from Pat McGrath rather than an eyeshadow palette. And this is the real thing. I just wanted to go through my collection, just talking about the products that I've already picked up and what it would be smart for me to potentially pick up in the future this holiday season. I'm not saying I'm going to pick up the Pat McGrath cheek products because I get a lot of use out of the ones I have. No, because I didn't pick them up last year. And I was perfectly content with the one that I already had because those had shades that I liked. It was slim, it was cute, it was nice, you know. The other ones, sometimes she's gotten real gaudy, especially with the Bridgerton collection. She had that huge... So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I hope I wasn't kind of beating a dead horse with talking about why something was important, why something wasn't. But I think it's really important that we all take a step back, look in our collection, look what we've already picked up for previous holidays and even previous falls, because you know fall is my weakness, to see what do you actually get use out of. Are you actually getting more use out of single pan highlighters than these palettes? Then why are you buying the palettes? Buy single highlighters. Not saying that you should buy single highlighters, but I'm saying if you feel the urge to, a single highlighter would be smarter if you're getting use out of single highlighters. You feel me? Anyways, I think that's all I got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys, of course, on Friday, and that will be with my final thoughts on the House Labs concealer. I am currently doing the wear test now, and this is going to be a wear test with some new interesting factors that I've never done before, so I hope you guys are enjoying it. I know the concealer comes out sometime this week, so hopefully it's not too late for you guys to know what to get and what shade. I will be doing share comparisons, all of that, so don't you worry, sit back and enjoy. And yeah, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna see you guys on Friday. Bye guys.